Hello, darlings. You know, I was inspired today on my way home, actually earlier today. Y'all know the drill. I get naked, I talk. I was inspired earlier today because I had a conversation with a friend of mine today on Facebook. And you know, some perceptions need to be changed. During this conversation with a friend of mine, we discussed that he was unsuccessful in dating while residing in the District of Columbia. Now, before we go into any details specifically, I'm going to go into, the library is now open for extended hours. Let me repeat myself. The library is now open for extended hours. What does that mean? I'm serving you bitches a double entendre read today. And for those of you who don't know what the word entendre means, that means you need to stay and get some extra help after I close the library during the extended hours. Now, my friend, love him dearly, he's a sweetheart. He told me of some dynamics that occurred to him, that happened to him while attempting to date in the District of Columbia. Now, granted, we're going to make one thing very clear tonight. Nobody is perfect. And I mean nobody. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. You're not perfect. Nobody except God. Let's be very clear about that tonight. Now, I have noticed a trend since the age of 18 where many people who are transient and come to DC, we're going to call you all newcomers. Welcome to the District of Columbia. However, many of you get tainted resentments and judgments about those of us who are native Washingtonians, the few of us left. And I'm finding it difficult to actually coexist among you all because, frankly, I'm having a real problem with having to fight perception versus intention. But again, we're going to go into great detail about this because the library is now open for extended hours. You think I'm bullshitting y'all today? Look, I came with a checklist of things to start off with. Now, I've put the dating scene amongst gay men, especially the subset of gay black men, into two categories. One, the newcomers, those of you who found yourselves living in DC and having this situation. And two, the natives, the few of us that are left, or the few of us that claim DC as their home originally. Now, newcomers, get your pencils and your pens and your reading glasses on because I'm taking you to school right now. Now, those of you who are not from DC, again, I said welcome, but many of you have worn out your welcome mats, and I'm damn tired of you doing it. And you know what? It's about time we took some time to examine some of the reasons why some of you, dick fell out my drawers, why some of you have had so many difficulties in dating and finding relationships in DC. And don't think for a minute, natives, that I'm leaving you off the hook, because bitches, I'm going to read you from Genesis to Revelations as well. You get your pens and your pencils out too, because the test is going to apply to you as well. So get out, get ready, have a seat, it's time to have school. The professor and the librarian are in for session. Number one, newcomers. What are your intentions, plans, goals, and aspirations when making the move to the District of Columbia? Are you planning a career move? Are you planning to go to school? Are you planning to do something productive and fruitful besides fuck? And also, what homework are you doing to make sure that these aforementioned goals can be met while residing in the District of Columbia? And let me add another part of that question. Do you plan to be fruitful, productive, and be a contributor to society versus becoming another parasitic mole that has come and sucked up the city dry of its resources and then move on to the next city to repeat the same behavior? Real talk moment number one. Question number two. What expectations have you set while pursuing a love interest while residing in the District of Columbia? Do these expectations conflict with the complexity of Washingtonians in 2004? And then also, have you considered the possibility that your expectations may exceed reality? And when I say that last part of this question, many people have expectations for what they want, but don't even have the ability or the reality to make those expectations come to fruition. For example, you want a man with a six-figure salary who drives a Cadillac and has a a mansion with a white picket fence, but you're living in Section 8, you are on disability, you ride Metro, and you don't even have a high school diploma. Check that. And I'm not even talking about the natives yet. I'm talking about newcomers. Number 3. When seeking out a love interest, have you made the mistake of confusing intention versus perception? And when I say that, have you fallen into the trap of trying to turn a hoe into a housewife? Or have you tried to use apps such as Grindr, Jacked, WhatsApp, Kick, any of those other apps? Hell, have you gone on Adam for Adam? Have you gone on Men for Now? Have you gone on Black Gay Chat? Have you even gone on a Dateline? Have you gone cruising in public places to try and find a hookup? Matter of fact, have you found someone that you're potentially interested in and you find yourself only calling them during the booty call hours between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m.? Or even during hours where a conducive conversation toward building a relationship is not really conducive? I want you to think about that. Moving right along. Number 4. What is your vibration telling the universe? Are you trying to convince yourself that you're seeking a relationship when your real vibration is telling the world that you're out for a quick fuck? Actions speak louder than words, children. Real talk conversation number 2. Number 5. Are you dating the same person? And when I ask that question, I mean, do the names and the faces change? Repeat this. Are you dating the same person? Which means the names and faces may change, but the same personality and the same traits may be similar to each other, which means you're entering the same toxic situation with the same outcomes. For people in recovery, insanity is the definition of repeating the same mistakes, expecting a different outcome. By dating the same person and expecting the same outcome, you're basically practicing insanity or ignorance. Either way, you're repeating the same cycle, for which can be a detriment to your functioning overall for years to come until you come to terms with what you're doing to yourself. Number 6. Are you maximizing the bounty of blessings that the District of Columbia maintains in your search for a mate that meets your desires? That means DC has so many organizations, clubs, social groups, activities, things going on that are fruitful, productive, and positive that can afford you the opportunity to meet your Prince Charming. You want to know what examples those are? We have museums, we have tourist attractions, we have social groups, we have speed dating, we have wine tastings, we have church functions, we also have dance classes. And just let me sidebar real quick. My perfect first date would involve me taking a guy that I'm really, really interested in to a dance class of my choice. For example, a jazz dance class where we sweat it out, we work it out. I show him how fierce I am with technique, and I see if he can keep up and see how well he can move, because that can come in handy later if we're having sex. How you doing? A man that can dance is a man that can fuck. Meanwhile, back to the general perspective of what we're talking about. These are all healthy activities in which you can meet someone organically and in a healthy way. Or are you maintaining unhealthy behaviors, risky behaviors? Are you going cruising? Are you meeting them same broads at the bars that are just doing nothing but drinking and getting a year older faster than the average person? Are you getting high on a regular basis and only meeting people to get high and fuck? I'm not judging anyone who has done that, because I have been there with you. I often find myself in those situations too, but I'm aware of them. Are you aware of what you're doing? Are you able to separate the emotion with the activity? That's a question you need to ask yourself. Or are you just stuck at home feeling sorry for yourself, looking at Oprah popping bonbons, wishing that Prince Charming would just knock on your door? Honey, this is 2014. You better get up and move it. Number 7. Have you done any self-examination to assess any of your character defects to determine if you're not attracting but detracting your Prince Charming? That means, are you having those real talk conversations with people that are telling you, you know what, you may want to work on that little habit you have, that little activity that you're doing, because it's not good for you? Or have you considered going into therapy? I speak as a person who has benefited from the resource that therapy individually can be. Therapists don't tell you what your problem is or tell you what your solution is. They are the sounding board in which you figure out what your problems are and what solutions you need to figure out to happen. That has been the best experience I could ever have. 2 years of therapy, you would be amazed how much it has helped me. I didn't realize how resentful and angry and bitter and just pissed off at the world and how depressed I was and how much I had carried around with me for 30 years before I got into therapy. By the time I turned 30, I started getting my life together. I'm a work in progress, but I've come a long way in those 2 years that I had therapy. Number 8, bitches. Birds of a feather flock together. If you only hanging out with hoes, bitch, use a hoe too. If you want to be viewed as an intellectual that has swagger, that has culture, that has an ability to maneuver through any situation and just fiercely captivate people, find people that are maintaining that same vibration as well. Otherwise, bitch, use a hoe. Number 9. When given lemons, make lemonade. This is an adage that is very old. Many of you are like, well, what the hell does that have to do with dating? You know, men aren't perfect. None of us are. We're animalistic, we're sexual, we're carnal beings. We have urges, we have desires, but we're human. So that means you need to meet us where we are and find what makes us sweet, what makes us good, what makes us smile. And find those same things in yourself. What can I do to make him smile? What little things does he enjoy? What makes him tick? And how I can balance that. Number 10. Let's talk real talk for a moment. The people I've heard say things about DC men are very judgmental. Friend of mine, I love you. I know you've had some experiences that you've had, and I'm not talking about you. You and I have had that private conversation, so don't take this personally. But some of these motherfuckers that say shit about motherfuckers from DC this and motherfuckers from DC that, don't you know that you are downing one of God's creations and that you are one too, that you're trying to put yourself on a pedestal that is better than him? Do we need to take you on a one-way trip down to hell with Lucifer himself, the one who fell from heaven also? Bitch, I don't think so, because you are not, and I repeat, you are not any better than anyone in the District of Columbia. In fact, the more people you walk on to step above the ladder will be the same people that you meet on the way back down. Check that shit now. I've spoken too much about newcomers. Natives. We got to do better, y'all. We have got to do fucking better. We got to go to school. We got to get a job. We got to have desires, goals, dreams, aspirations that equate people who bring to the table things that we wish we had or want to have as well. Me? What can I say? I've actualized a lot of goals in my life earlier. So I'm not necessarily subscribed to the problems in terms of getting my home together. I have an apartment, but hey, maybe one day I would like to be a homeowner. Get my credit together. I've got school already taken care of. The master's degree from Howard University, the real HU, by the way, has afforded me that opportunity. But I want to take my life to another level too, and I want to meet someone that is mirroring what I wish to have as well. I want to find someone that parallels me and that we can grow together and evolve. I want you all to make that same goal happen for yourselves. DC natives, make people feel welcome. I had a conversation on my first date last week with this guy that I told y'all was just absolutely everything and just magnanimous. He told me during Gay Pride every year back in the 80s when it first started, people had a sense of family. People had a sense of belonging. People shared. People took care of each other. People checked on each other. Where is that sense of family? And I'm calling out the newcomers too, because you know what? All of us as a family are guilty, because so many people have so many things to say about each little subset of the gay community that no one is actually addressing what the problems are. In fact, so many people are so set on passing judgment and reading and all this shit. Bitches, I'm reading all of you motherfuckers today. Get your motherfucking shit together. That means when you come into DC, have a plan, have a goal. Don't just come into DC, suck up every resource you can and leave. Build the community that you belong to. Belong to the community. Don't just sleep there. Become a part of it. Make yourself known on a present basis. Don't stick your nose up in the air just because you think you're living in the ghetto. Because bitches, I know some of y'all live in butt fuck before you got here and decided to reinvent yourselves when you came to the District of Columbia. I know so many people. I'm going to just use a name like Leroy St. Vincent, for example. I don't know who anyone named that, but I'm just going to say that for example because Leroy St. Vincent used to be Supervester Lacroix from Goodfuck, Mississippi. I'm not saying anything about anybody from the state of Mississippi, so let's be clear about that. I'm not saying anything about anyone that comes from rural areas or middle America areas or any area of the United States as it is. But some people have just decided to become someone else that they are not. Let's be honest. Newcomers, natives, be true to who you are. Be the best you that you can be. I know that Damian Carter is going to always be the best Damian Carter he's going to be because I'm in touch with who I am, and I may not be who I was before, but I'm glad about that because I'm no longer the angry black man. I know that I'm not where I want to be, but I'm sure on my way to there because I'm always on my journey. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see the destination happening, but I'm not even worried about the destination because you know what? I'm going to enjoy the journey, and anyone who decides to join me on my journey is going to enjoy it. I want you all to come together and make the journey wonderful for each other. Stop bitching. Make change. Make a revolution. Make the change that you want to become. And I think this moment in this blog that I'm having right now is bigger than just dating. It's just about finding your true self and just loving who you are. Damian, you love you. I love you. That means that anyone who sees me smiling, anyone who sees me mad, anyone understands me, anyone knows that I am living in my honest truth. Today is a good day because you know what? I have the passion to share this information with y'all. And actually, to be honest with you, if you saw my video from the other day, you know I'm trying to find my passion. This has become a part of my passion. Sharing information with the people in the world that I think has not been acknowledged and being ignored. And frankly, I am hoping that each and every one of you listen to the 17 plus minutes of this moment because frankly, I feel like I'm onto something with this. And I want each and every one of you to just try and take a chunk of whatever I've said to you tonight and just learn from it. Because damn it, I'm sick and tired of hearing these people bitch about newcomers this, natives that. Stop labeling each other as such. Hi, I'm Damian. It's nice to meet you. You're a very handsome guy. I would like to get to know you. And just take it from there. And you know what? Take all the expectations off the board. Leave the expectations alone. Go with every situation that you find yourself in romantically with an open mind. And you know what? It may just be a fuck. It may just be a short-term thing. It may turn out to be a long-term thing. You may find yourself living with that person until the day one of you die. But you know what? Stop harping on the negative and just make every moment beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Make every moment beautiful. And that's the real talk for tonight. I love y'all. Be fierce. Be fabulous. Be inspired. And I'll see you on the runway. And and speaking of the runway, if you see me on the runway, don't try to trip me up. Try to say hi to me. Because you know what? The guy that I had on the first date last week, I was on the catwalk. And he was on the catwalk too. We were just opposing forces, passing each other, and timing just happened to work in our favor. Try to think about that the next time you find somebody of interest. Okay? Good night.